Welcome back, everybody, to Imagine Better Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Powers, and I have a superstar, awesome mindset guy sitting next to me, Mike Secord. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man.
Awesome. It's been a little minute.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been too long, actually.
I know. I mean, Mike used to be my life coach. He's been a good friend of mine, I don't know, 4 or 5 years maybe?
Yeah, about that. About 5 years.
It's been probably about that. We used to do something similar to this in my old studio for your coaching program.
Yeah, we were just kind of trying to figure our lanes. We were trying to figure it out for each of us. And,
that's right.
And we basically just were talking.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to do today.
We're just going to have a conversation. Yeah. You know, I do zero prep for these shows. Zero.
Well, I find for me, if I prep, I screw up.
Same.
The best thing is just let it go, and let the thoughts out, and let it be raw, let it be real. So that's what we're going to do today.
So we're going to talk today, everybody, about what it is to impact. Well, the topic of today's show is impacting lives one mindset at a time. And this guy specializes in mindset. I mean, ever since I've known him, take action, change your mindset, change your life. So tell everybody, a little bit about yourself for those that don't know you, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the real estate industry and in the arena for about 26, going on 27 years. I started out as a salesman, got engaged at that year when I was selling my first year, getting married, had all these big plans. I wanted to achieve more than anyone in my family ever did. I wanted to kind of do it my way, and I wanted to prove what my story wrote to everyone was. I wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted this is my way of doing it. You may have a way, but so I went out there and I did that, and I went out and I achieved. And I sold a lot of real estate, started managing offices, did some things, and then I found myself kind of in my 40s. I'm like, I've achieved everything I set out for. I achieved it, and I was kind of in that period in my 40s. I call it. I was wandering the desert. I was kind of like wandering around, achieving things, but really not feeling happy.
Right.
Not really feeling fulfilled. Not really enjoying a lot of things. And I realized that, I had this transformative day, and I think we all have transformative days. It's just lots of times we don't actually take the time to hear the voice, hear the things, and go on and we go through it, and then we get tested again, and then we get tested again. Well, I had many of them, but April 12th, 2019 was the day that really changed everything.
That was the aha moment.
That was my aha moment. I was in a meeting with, at the time, some of my partners. We were doing a small startup, and I was miserable. Our visions were different. Our leadership styles were different. We were just heading in two different directions. We were together at the time when we got into business, but we started drifting apart. And what I heard was this voice on my shoulder, a little drunk monkey, that said, "Mike, you are the reason for all your success. You are the reason for all your failure. Fix it."
Right.
And I've heard that before, and I've had this drunk monkey talk before, but I never really listened. And that day I listened. I went home that day. I stood up in that meeting, and I was done. I'm like, this is out. And I know they had an agenda because it was so obvious I was miserable for so long. There's no, if you've been around me, you know that I wear my emotion on my face. Like, what you see is kind of what you get. I'm a high D personality, so I don't keep things underwater too much.
So what if your eyes are crossed? What does that mean?
That means I'm really messed up, which you'll see that at times. So so I was in that meeting. I stood up. I was like, I'm done. And like I said, this is my story, their story. I'm sure they were ready to part ways because we were two different ships in a harbor heading different ways.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went home that day, jumped on Facebook Live. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I still, to this day, guys, I know no idea what I'm doing social media-wise, content-wise, whatever. I just do it. So I went home, jumped on Facebook Live, threw on an album, and I put in Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down song.
Yep.
And I basically made an announcement to the world that I was starting my coaching company right then and there. I had no idea how I was going to do it. I had no idea what coaching was about. I'm like, you know what? I've been coaching, mentoring, developing people for 20-some years, and I've been doing it for someone else, doing it for someone else's business and things.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to go make the impact I want to make.
Yeah.
So, we get back to the title of the show. That's when I created my mission statement. And my mission statement was to impact people's lives one mindset at a time. And we'll talk more about that as we get through it. But that was my drive. So I went on Facebook Live and announced to the world that I'm going to do it. And then I walked out and was like, holy shit. I just
committed myself.
I committed myself. What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And what I realized after that statement and after hearing that drunk monkey on my shoulder was
drunk monkey, that's funny.
Was that I needed to finally work on me.
Right.
Before I was developing, learning more, getting things so that I could go do better in the role that I was in, but I never really took time for me.
Yeah. That's important.
So from that day forward, I realized that I needed to go smaller to go bigger.
Right.
And it was pretty ironic for my growth, and I know a lot of you can probably have some story somewhere, but COVID really helped me.
Yeah.
Because it forced me to go smaller.
I think it forced a lot of people to change everything.
And by it forcing me to go smaller in a point where I made a decision that I needed to go smaller,
right.
It was the right thing for me. So it wasn't like too shocking. It was actually what I needed. And every day since then, and part of my schedule is I need to prime the pump. And you know, we've talked about this on calls with you before. Is I know that every day I wake up and I have anxieties. I deal with stress like everyone else out there does. And I know that every day when I wake up, I don't want to get up.
Right.
My alarm goes off. I want to stay in bed. My anxiety. I'm like, I just want to stay here. I don't want to go. I don't want to go battle the day. And I'm like, okay, if that's there every day, stop trying to hide it. Stop trying to change it.
Yeah.
Just go, okay, what do you want to do? So I made little movements in my day that are now habits, because I believe our success is built into our habitual, our habitual mindset, where we're at. So if we can change our habits of our mindset, we don't have to change the whole thing. We just have to change what we do per moment.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I've done is like I moved my alarm, my phone to the other side of the room, and I've set a bedtime alarm and a morning alarm. So I put little things into my day, and I have blocked off in my schedule, because I believe if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist.
Right.
So I schedule everything. So in my schedule, every morning from 6:30 to 8:30 is me time. It's meditation, walk.
Yeah, you do a lot of walking stuff.
And on there I have videos that I listen to every day. I have, scripture that I do. I have things that I do every day in that period.
Right.
Regardless of where I'm at, regardless of if I'm on vacation or whatever, I do this. And sometimes the videos, I've been on a drive with our family, and 8:30 I put it on and we listen to it in the car, and I'm like, it's 10 minutes long. If they can't handle the 10 minutes of listening to what Dad listens to, then they put their AirPods in or whatever.
And it's interesting. So you guys out there, if you have a routine like that maybe it's like hit and miss, right? You're not being consistent with it, or you are a rock star at it. Drop them in the comments.
Yeah,
Let's share those ideas with us, in our audience. What's working for you might help somebody who's looking for a routine, right? And again, it's another shift in the mindset. It
builds a habit for me, and now it's kind of like I do a 4-mile walk every day. Outside,
really,
rain, shine, whatever. I go out and I do the walk, and I started doing it because I realized, hey, you COVID, all that, you're fat.
Yeah.
And everyone has different definitions of fat, but for me, for my body, I was like, man, I'm fat. I need to fix it. But I knew I wasn't going to go to the gym every day. I knew that what I was not going to do. So I just said, well, what can you do? And
right.
I'm going to go for a walk. So I put my AirPods in, I listen to books, do things, and I go on a 4-mile walk with my dog every day.
Yeah.
And I find when I don't do the walk because the weather's really bad or something comes up, or if I haven't gotten to my videos until later in the day because something happened in the morning, I find that I'm in a little bit of a funk. And it's just because I got out of my routine. So, I challenge you is that we're all consistent. Mm-hmm. I have clients come to me all the time, Mike, I need help with time management. I need help with consistency. Yeah. And I think it's all crap. You don't need help with consistency. You don't need help with time management. What you need is help with the decisions you're making.
Right. And that's going to come from mindset.
Yeah, because we're
changing your
consistent.
mindset.
If you're struggling in what you're doing, you're consistently doing the things that struggle.
Right.
You know, if you're successful, you're consistently doing the things that are successful. We're all consistent. It's what we choose to be consistent at.
I'm consistent at a lot of times being not consistent.
Yeah, like prior to me doing my walks, I was consistently staying away from exercise.
Yeah.
So now I'm consistently in some form of exercise.
Yeah.
In movement, and it's getting my feet on the ground, going outside. It's seeing the sunrise, looking at the day from a different perspective, seeing it go from dark to light, and it just sets me in the right mode.
Yeah.
And I know that every day is a journey, and live the day to its fullest and go on to the next.
Yeah.
And that's just little things that I focus on. Is I don't try to be perfect, because I don't know what perfect is.
I don't think it
For
exists.
so long, I tried to be.
Yeah.
And what I realized is I had no definition for what I was trying to be.
But I think a lot of people in media, the movies, they paint this picture of what perfection is. It makes people feel, like they're just not measuring up in life. And then you talk about the depression. You talk about a shift in a mindset that lowers people's confidence because the bar is set so high.
Yeah,
right.
And we're chasing for a bar that we can't even define.
Right.
And it's like
I agree with
found
that.
myself doing that for so long. Is I was after something that I didn't know what I was going after.
Yeah.
And like I said early on, I knew I wanted to achieve more, but I never really defined what that achieve more was.
Yeah. It's interesting, everybody. It's when Mike and I started working together, we met through a mutual friend of ours, and he was doing a presentation at his home, beautiful home, and we just clicked. And then from that moment on, we started collaborating on some content ideas, and he was just getting into coaching. I think you were just getting into coaching.
Just getting into coaching.
And he had this idea of this program, and what was the name of that? It was, I can't remember now. Mindset activation, or
at the time it was. That particular
been...
time was success starts with mindset.
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
what we were basically
and it was great content, but I think we complicated it, and because nowadays your content is so easy to absorb, contain, and just absorb. And take.
Yeah, and I think that. From what you just heard there, like you guys don't know exactly what we're talking about, but you kind of hear, and I'm sure you can kind of hear yourself in the story. Is the one thing that I did right then was I had an idea, and I was like, okay, I don't know how this is going to look. I don't know how it's going to work. This is stuff that's running through my head. And basically what I'd done is I've taken everything that I have been a part of, everything I've gone through, what got me through the tough times and the crap, how I get through the tough times and the crap on a daily thing, and how I built a real estate business, how I led and helped other people. I was taking little bits of it and going, okay, how do I create a framework around it? And I was like, okay, let me get together some people that I know, like, and trust, and I'm like, invite them to my home, bring them down. They spend a whole day masterminding. Yeah. And I had them in my basement. We sat on a couch, and I just stood in front, and I just went at it. And
I thought it was
dropped
great.
all kinds of content, did things, messed things up. But I got a lot of clarity out of that because I got some feedback from people in the room and did that. And what I learned over that period, and then as we were working together trying to craft something, was I needed to not go all in on creating a course. I needed to go spend a couple of years just going out and talking.
Right.
Just going out and getting my content out, talking to people and creating evidence. Of people that I've helped change. And what I realized when I started doing that was I needed to stay a chapter ahead of the people I was working with.
Right.
And that was a big, big, big change for me. I didn't need to know it all.
Yeah.
I just needed to be a chapter ahead.
Yeah.
So I have to be focused more on developing myself every day so that I can go and pour into the next person. Like I have a call in 20 minutes with a client of mine, and I know what he needs to achieve and where he needs to go, so I need to stay ahead of him.
Right.
I need to go do the research. I need to be the Google for coaching.
Yeah.
Like I don't walk around thinking I know everything. But I know, you don't go to Google because Google has all the information.
Right.
You go to Google because Google will connect you to the information.
That's correct.
And they connect you fast. So I'm like, how do I build a coaching and a consulting and a leadership development business around connecting?
Yeah.
And then I realized, how you do that?
How?
You get closer to the people that you already are in a relationship with.
Good point.
And you connect them. I'm part of John Maxwell's certified leadership team. I'm connecting people to people that I am in mentorship or I'm connected with.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one that they'll come to and can help. I don't play like I've got everything, guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's the worst thing I ever did, and the worst thing anyone does is you play like you know everything. You don't do things because you don't know enough. No, just get into action and go help people. Go impact people.
Just have fun with the conversation. Be relatable. Humanize the experience, right? Yeah, and give them the guidance that they need. Because, I think a lot of us, myself included, and you know me all too well, I've gone through a lot of these types of challenges. I mean, you tried to reshape my mindset so many times, but my own inner struggles blocked it. Like, it legitimately did. And I lost confidence and I wasn't ready. And I finally, I just burst through the cloud and said, I'm ready now. And it's taken me 4 years.
You said something really good there that I want to make sure the audience hears real well. Is, Mark said, I tried to get him to change his mindset so many times. Really what I was trying was to get you to see how you could change it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
And that because we don't have to go in and fix. We just have to actually shed a light on something. I have a perspective that you don't have because you've been walking around with your thoughts.
Right.
From the beginning of time for you, you've been walking around talking to yourself. You know more about you than anyone. We hide in dark places where we don't think people will find us. That's just how we are as human beings. So I can see things that you can't see because you're in it.
That's your superpower.
And you see things about me that I don't see. And I think when we get to that, it's like we understand that, hey, when we help each other out, we make impacts, and we're coming from contribution. Share those things into it. Like I said, my mission is to make impact on people one mindset at a time. And I literally I focus on that per conversation, per interaction with people. A coach of mine said this one time, and I keep using it, so I steal it and I keep duplicating and using it. But he's like, your job is to move people out of neutral.
Right.
So when I'm around people, it's like, what can I ask them? What can I say to them from curiosity, from a growth mindset that will get them to pivot from where they currently are?
Right.
And sometimes you're going to say something that's going to sting someone. I know I've said things to you that have stung you because you weren't ready for it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But I didn't say it just coming at you. I said it because you said something to me which allowed me to now say it back.
Right.
And it gets you to think. And it gets you to do something different. So I feel that, I need to do that every time that I come in contact with people. Because that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And I know that I get more enjoyment out of what people accomplish around me than what I accomplish.
So when you're working with, trying to help people, which that's one thing that I love about you is you're really good at just kind of making people at ease, helping them become at ease. And then it makes them relax, and then they're willing to just kind of open their mind and take in the learnings that you're going to, share with them. And I think that also allows people to embrace the program that they're going through, their coaching program with you, and actually make actionable steps to activate their life.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've talked about this before, and every episode I've had thus far, everyone knows that I don't just believe in motivation or motivate. Motivation is when you go to like a Tony Robbins seminar or a Grant Cardone and you get motivated. It's an emotional rise.
Yeah.
But what happens afterwards? It all dissipates. So instead of motivate, activate. Instead of being instead of motivation, activation. Right? Just replace those words. You can get motivated, but you have to also activate.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And one of the things that I love the kind words you said about me and noticing that I calm people down, and what's allowed me to do that is the fact that that's what I have to do to myself on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I have to calm myself. I have to slow myself down. I have to physically work on doing that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
when I
I'm the
do
same
that,
way.
and I do that for myself, now I can help others do the same.
Yeah.
Where before in my career, I was moving at such a fast pace
Mm-hmm.
that I would bulldoze people without even knowing I was bulldoze. Like my boat made such a wake behind it
Right.
that I had no idea what that wake was doing. And now I'm really conscious about how do I create movement in my boat so that people can ski and have fun in my wake,
Right.
not fall and get destroyed.
Correct.
And that's really about, okay, calm myself, slow myself down,
Yeah.
take it all in, listen more.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
so hard for a lot of people.
and it's hard for me, but again, I have to focus on that. It's
Right.
part of my priming the pump. And then, you know, what you said about the motivation is I think it all starts with really getting clear with, you know, you hear the start with why, you know, all these
Right.
kind of things, and people struggle with what is their why. And I like to just break it down to simple things. What inspires you?
Yeah.
What inspires you? And if you can find the inspiration, now we can motivate. But
You know,
if there's no inspiration,
Yeah.
the motivation is that's what
No.
it sparks up and down. But
And that was what happened to me. I had zero inspiration. I was stuck in this rut of life, and I hid, you know, until I sought help.
and we talked about it. You know,
Yeah.
this whole process of motivation and inspiration is like building a campfire.
Right.
You know, the inspiration is the spark with the wood that starts the fire, but your motivation is the stoking it, making sure there's air coming to it,
Right.
making sure you don't snuff it out by putting too much wood or having wet. You know,
Right.
that's the motivation. And sometimes you need to get into it to get there, and sometimes you go like, okay, I just got to step back.
You
and
mean
let it.
changes work?
And yeah, and that it's work even if you don't change it, because it's like,
Right.
oh my gosh, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You got to let that fire breathe, and sometimes you just have to sit back and let what you put as a motivation do its work. And sometimes you're like, oh, it's dying a little bit. I need to give it a little more air.
Definitely.
And that's what we're doing when I work with people is, you know, it's finding out what inspires them, keeping them connected to their inspiration, taking them back to it when they
Right.
get drifted away, and then making sure that we're adding that right motivation, that right things into it. And that
Nice.
falls in line with my success code. And you know, I
Yeah.
shared this with you on that first day, was I broke down everything into what I frame as my success code. I'm sure I stole it from someone somewhere, but it's my code because I put it in a piece and I look at it every day. But enough of that. So I believe it's mindset times action plus accountability equals success.
Yeah.
And what I realized is so much of my career is I had the action.
Mm-hmm.
I had plenty of accountability. I had coaches and everything.
Right.
But I was ignoring my mindset. So I was running a lot of short
God, I
sprints.
relate to that.
Running a lot of short sprints, getting there, getting it success, and then getting bored.
Right.
Getting, you know, where I like, okay, now what kind of thing, and going down. And it's because I didn't really have the mindset into it. I didn't know really what I was
Right.
going after. I lacked that inspiration part.
Yeah. Any of you guys out there listening or watching this, if that resonates with you, drop us a comment. I want to know, you know, what inspires you. If you're lacking inspiration, share that. Let's engage in some conversation here. And I know, you know, as we air this program, this episode, Mike will be watching. He'll answer. He'll get involved in the conversations. Obviously, in the description, I'm going to have every way possible that you guys can get a hold of this guy. He is a brilliant coach. When you know everything that you've taught me, I apply. It's just that, you know me, I'm so stubborn, and it takes me a while. You know, and you know this. I lost my confidence, and now it's starting to come back up. When on one of the episodes on this show, I think it was with Jacob Brown, I looked him in the eye and said, "Man, I'm scared shitless to be doing this right now."
Oh yeah,
because you talk about just jumping in and doing it. Like when you went to YouTube live streaming that day and you proclaimed, "This is what I'm doing." You put your stake in the ground of life.
Yeah,
I kind of did that with this show, and I'm just like, well, I'm all in now. You know, I have got to go forward with it.
Yeah,
I got people that are enjoying it. So, and you know, and having amazing guests and friends like you on here makes it so much easier for me. You know, 'cause-
This is
Yeah.
fun. I'm so honored that you asked me to jump into
Thank
this.
you.
We talked about how you've got a gift, and we need to get it out there. And
yeah,
make sure
it's
that kind of
hiding
thing. So,
somewhere. I don't know
yeah.
where it's
But I think you just have to realize that there's a lot of content in our book.
Yeah.
Don't judge the book by a cover.
Right.
And understand that there's chapters, there's good things, there's some struggle, there's all this that goes on, and you're not judged by how perfect everything is. If you're a little scared to do something like Mark shared, then you're doing the right thing. If you're comfortable at it and it's just easy, you're not doing enough. And that's,
I'll tell you,
think
that's so
bigger,
true.
think things. And I tell real estate agents all the time this, and I think like when we just start thinking abundantly,
right.
we can see all the opportunity. There's 7.5 billion people in the world.
That's a lot.
Most real estate agents that I talk to, if they were doing 20 to 36 transactions a year,
right,
they would be making a really good living, a comfortable living. They wouldn't be killing it completely. They wouldn't be multi-million and all that, but they would be very comfortable. Their lives would change.
Yeah. I guess it depends on the price of those homes.
It does. even in today's market, just about anywhere, if you start doing that, they're making mid six figure, like 150, 250, somewhere in that range, up to 350. Yeah. Some clients that I've dealt with in California are making a lot more than that, doing that kind of transactions. But at the same time, what I'm telling people is there's 7.5 billion people in the world.
Right.
You need 20
a
year.
Yeah.
So when you get your content out and you go speak and I just have to go find my 20.
Yeah.
You don't need to please 7.5 billion. I know there's people that are listening to this that are gonna be like that Mike guy, he's whacked. Yeah. He's an idiot, or and that's fine. John Maxwell says this, guys.
He's not whacked.
Yeah. But John Maxwell says this, and I think it's so important. And I'm going to butcher it a little bit on there, but he basically says, he writes his books, he does his content, he does videos for everyone to have the opportunity to read and to watch and to listen to. It's out there for everyone.
Yeah.
But it's only designed for a small amount of people. And those are the people that want to develop their leadership skills and multiply leaders. Go take and go. And I've developed my leadership skills. I want to go develop other leaders.
Now, I'm sorry to interrupt you because I know we're also busting the time here because you have a client that you got to get on the call with.
Okay.
Do you only work and coach with real estate agents, or do you help anybody that needs coaching?
That's a great question. But let me jump back to it's designed for anyone.
Okay.
For just a small number of groups. So get your content out there. You don't need to please 7.5 billion people. You got to get to 20 when I talk to agents. It's that
makes a lot
you're
of
out
sense.
here, this video, anyone on YouTube can go watch this.
Anyone. Yeah.
And we hope everyone does.
Yeah.
But it's designed for people that want to imagine a better life, want to get better, and want to, because when you do that, guys, and you make those comments like Mark's asking you, and you reach out and you do all that stuff, it drives us to go do more. So if you're liking this is just the beginning of what Mark's done, and I'm going to push him real hard to keep going off and doing more with this, and pushing the boundaries of who sits in this chair that can provide content for you. But if you like this, keep pushing him to go learn more and do more so that he can push you out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
So your question about who I coach and who I deal with. I started off in an arena, and that arena was, I'm going to stick to what I know and where I'm known at. And that was real estate agents and brokers and owners and doing that. I spend most of my time in that arena.
Okay.
But I coach anyone that's looking to develop their mindset, anyone that's looking to develop their leadership, anyone that's looking to develop themselves and make their life getting more rounded and really having that entrepreneurial spirit of where they want to go.
Yeah.
And that's the pieces that I'm looking for. I'm looking for. I have 5 questions that I run through, and I'm not going to bore you guys with all the questions that I ask myself before I get into.
Let's put those in the comments and the description.
Yeah, we'll do that. But one of the questions basically is I want to know, does this person have a story that inspires me?
Interesting. Okay.
And the reason I ask myself that question is if I answer I don't know or I'm not sure about, I didn't go deep enough with that person. And if I didn't go deep enough with the person, why am I presenting to them an opportunity to coach with me?
That's very true.
I need to go deeper with them.
That's very true.
So I'm looking for what it is, what's your inspiration so that I can become the motivation that helps you achieve your inspiration.
Oh, I love that. Makes a lot of sense. You guys, listen, thank you. I mean, episode 4, Mike Secord in studio today. Thank you very much for joining us. Mm-hmm. Share our content, subscribe, hit the notification button so you don't miss upcoming content. We have a lot of great upcoming guests going to be on Imagine Better podcast. And Mike, I
think you just shared with me earlier, and I just want to kind of give people a sneak peek. You've got people booked for 60 days out, right? Or 90. Was it more? 90 days.
Yeah.
90 days worth of leaders and movers and shakers and people that are making a difference out there want to get in this chair and talk to you guys. So share this out there with people so Mark can keep filling this up, because the more comments you guys give Mark, the more ability he has to go find people to sit in the chair where I'm sitting that can help you.
Definitely. And if you are somebody who is a coach, a leader, shaper, somebody who's an author, a speaker, a coach, reach out. We're booking fast. So love to have you as a guest. Go to imaginebetterpodcast.com. There's a link up there you can click to become a guest. Love to entertain that and see what your background is and how we can help other people out there watching this. So again, Mike, absolute pleasure, my friend. Thanks for solid episode 4.
Thank you, guys. Hope I made an impact on you.
Change the world, guys. Impacting lives one mindset at a time with Mike Secord. Thank you. Awesome, dude.